It's hour number 3 live right here on the fourth full Saturday of this 2024 college football season. Live on College Football Today on SportsGrid. What are you guys looking at?
He's looking at my bets. He's fast forwarding to the NFL bets. He's looking at the open ones.
All right, look, a little behind the curtain.
Please.
I think we have time. We only got 2 games. Okay, a little behind the curtain.
On College Football Today.
On College Football Today, Joe Lisi in the spaceship too. All right. now at any given moment, what is up in front of him is always related to the show, but it may not be the correct thing.
Right.
So during the commercial break, he's pulling up like Georgia jerseys, Tenant Nico jerseys, right? So I was looking over, right, just seeing which Fanatic site he might be. No free ads, could have been any site, right? But then I noticed he has his NFL bets loaded up here. He's starting to find parlays or something. Okay, there's Giants money line, but the Eagles are in there plus 2.5. Last year, simply put, there's no arguing. Lisi tanked the Eagles season, and I begged him to get off the Eagles, and he won't stop.
I haven't bet them until maybe tomorrow. Could be from an in-game perspective.
Oh,
no.
Not saying go Saints, huh? How about some go Tigers?
Go Tigers.
Oh.
Chris Hilton will get the start today at the wide receiver position. Keep an eye out.
It's going to be a big one in Baton Rouge as LSU won its SEC opener last week against South Carolina, but was not easy, Lisi, guys. 6.5, 7-point favorite on the road in Columbia. They do not cover. LSU this year 0-3 against the spread. UCLA 0-2 against the number. These are 2 of 23 FBS programs that enter week number 4, failing to cover a number so far this year. And this one is a large number, 21.5 points in favor of the Bayou Bengals. How do you break down the showdown in Death Valley?
Well, it's not a 7 o'clock kick. It's 3:30. That factors in. The Tigers are dominant at night. And, again, this line is down from 24.5. I blinked and they were down 17-0 on the road. They were on life support. That defense still is not good. They adjusted. Now, I will say that front seven is getting after the quarterback. 12 sacks. Perkins is getting there. Greg Penn and those linebackers are getting there. Can they do it in this matchup? They're going to need to run the football. A bright spot was Caden Durham in terms of that matchup. Sure. Offensive line showing a little bit more continuity. If I had to bet this game, I might take the 21.5 because it's 3 touchdowns. I think there's no doubt LSU wins. My best bet here, I think we blow through the total. I really do. I think LSU forces tempo. Way too many wide receivers, Kev. Give me the points in terms of the over.
For me, I look at this spot here, man, and I look at LSU overall. This is a team, again, I mentioned it, coming into this week, top 25 teams that have played multiple power opponents. And you could easily argue that they've had the 2 most difficult spots, playing a really good USC team in Vegas and going on the road in conference touchdown line. I know that some penalties broke their way. That's undeniable.
For sure.
17-0, and you come back and win that game. I mean, look, that end result ends up being great for LSU here. They're a 21-point favorite, and maybe I'm a little kind of caught up in the big picture more than – the game-to-game of it all due to some LSU investments that I have. Yeah. But I think people have sold this team a little bit quick. I thought you were very kind to them, honestly, by having them in the wait list, which even was a little bit surprising. Betting-wise, really interested in this backfield, all right, for LSU. We know Durham broke out last week, but it's not like he blasted through and all of a sudden became the bell cow. That last drive, there was many carries for Durham as there were for Josh Williams. Great. Yet an 18-yard gap between the two on their rushing totals today. UCLA's only played 2 games. They've been worse through the air than the ground, so I don't know if LSU will establish their rushing attack here. But still, Josh Williams' props look very, very light and manageable.
Yeah, 2 main questions for me about this LSU team entering last week against the Gamecocks. One was answered kind of, one still has not been. The question for the Bayou Bengals is on the defensive side of the football. Last year, the second worst total defense in the SEC, allowing 416 yards per game. Only Vanderbilt had a worse defensive output. This year, Lisi guy, third worst total defense to start, 380 yards allowed and 243 given up on the ground last week against South Carolina. The question that was slightly answered, if it is Caden Durham, the freshman from Oklahoma City, taking the reins of that backfield, is a better ground attack to kind of complement everything that Garrett Nussmeier wants to do. 11 carries, 98 yards, and 2 tuds for the true freshman last week against South Carolina.
All different backs. He's more of a back that can catch the edge, has great vision. Josh Williams is the guy that gets the tough yards between the tackles, and Caleb Jackson is a combination of the both. I think it's a great recipe, to Kevin's point, big picture for this team potentially to challenge from an SEC championship perspective. We know they have the passing attack, right? But this front seven cannot fall behind. You cannot go on the road and fall behind 17-0 and live dangerously week to week in the SEC. You're going to get clipped by the better teams like Ole Miss and some of the others that you're going to have to face should you make it there.
Can I just, on the UCLA side?
Please.
Is Foster safe, because since this is year one?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know necessarily.
This could be really ugly.
Because they were thrust into a position very late in the coaching cycle, middle of February, where Chip Kelly did what was unthinkable, leaving a head coaching job in the Big Ten, in a power conference, to become the offensive coordinator. And Deshaun Foster was thrust into an impossible situation. It was almost like an interim head coach, but late in the offseason.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Like Braun and Northwestern a little bit last year.
A little bit, but David Braun had success. To this point, man, it could be bad for UCLA. The win total was 5.5 before the year. The expectations were not overly optimistic, but it has not looked good.
I mean, look, I was on him last week. I thought it was a smart spot, whatever. Got my head kicked in. That's okay. Yeah. At LSU, home against Oregon, at Penn State, next 3. Whoa. I mean, now, here's the thing. Yeah. Win one of those games, your job is safe the whole year,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
But if they're catching 21 today, the Oregon number, especially if LSU covers, I understand they're home. That's 3 scores.
Yeah.
And at Penn State, by that point, I mean, we could be talking a 30-point line.
Yeah, I was just saying, Garbers isn't one of the better quarterbacks in regards to the Big Ten right now. That's a major problem when you look big picture.
3 games.
He does have, though, again, he brings in Eric Bieniemy, NFL, type of offensive coordinator. I understand he's having struggles.
Yeah.
But again, new offensive scheme as well. That's the problem, I think, right now. No identity. They were pretty good rushing. They averaged $198 on the ground with Carson Steele last year.
So I was kind of caught off guard, remembering that Eric Bieniemy was the OC, looking at the game in Honolulu week number 1. It's like, Eric Bieniemy's the OC in Westwood? His numbers at Colorado when he was the last offensive coordinator in college football, not good whatsoever. And here's the issue. 83.5 rushing yards per game for this Bruins team. It's a year of evolution, no doubt. But under Chip Kelly, you knew they were running the football. They were top 20 in the country the last 3 years with Chip, more than 198 yards per game on the ground last year. And Deshaun Foster was the running backs coach. You think that would continue with some consistency on the ground. TJ Harden returned. It has been anything but. UCLA, the worst total offense in the Big Ten this year, the only one averaging less than 325 yards per game at barely over 290. Hand up, I was on Vanderbilt last week to beat Georgia State, easily cover as a 9.5-point favorite. That didn't happen. They lost outright to the Panthers. Today, though, they're getting 21.5 on the road in Columbia against Missouri. Kev, you said about Mizzou in my top 10. Is this team really a top 10 team in the country? Not only ranked at number 9 in my top 10, 7th in the AP top 25. What do you make of the Tigers so far?
I just want to make a point, though, because we know numbers move, right? That is a 18, 17.5 point spread now. Obviously, we're talking a lot of key number moves there. For me with Missouri, how much you like this team is going to probably depend on your priors. I was not as in on them. They certainly would not be inside my top 10 if that, we're doing Kev's top 10. But this is a prove-it-to-me game. Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt's bad, okay? They cover this number. I would not be back in Mizzou, but clearly the books are, they're taking a lot of Vandy money early, Joe.
They are, and Pavia is going to be the difference maker. I mean, think about it. He's the leading rusher on the team and hasn't, thrown an interception on the year. Again, as he goes, so does the Vandy offense. This is a game where if you're a Mizzou backer, and forget just laying the number today, big picture, you got to blow this team out there. You can't go toe-to-toe with Vanderbilt. I would lay it, but reluctantly.
Vandy over in all 3 games this year by nearly 2 touchdowns of an average margin. Of course, they won outright in their only game as a dog against Virginia Tech. Brady Cook, your number today is 249.5. Christian Veilleux threw for 260-plus last week against Vandy. Throw the football and let loose the bird and catch it. More on college football today.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
A quarterback comparison and spotlight for our 3 ranked versus ranked top 25 tilts on this week 4 Saturday slate. Let's start in the big house. 2 very different yardage props for 2 very different offensive schemes facing off in Ann Arbor. It's USC's Miller Moss against Alex Orji for Michigan, making his first career start. That number, 127.5. We'll get to Moss in a second. Lisi guy, you can break down his props. But, Kev, you're on Alex Orji today,
right.
2+ passing touchdowns. The thought is they're going to run it and run it and run it and run it some more for Michigan today.
Right.
Why do you believe the aerial attack might actually be able to benefit the Michigan Wolverines today?
Well, I think it's because when Alex Orji's in the game, you get these defenses trying to sell out, expect run. And, again, there's going to be opportunities for that. But there is a reason that Alex Orji in 6 pass attempts has thrown 2 passing touchdowns, because inside the 10-yard line, they've ran a few simple play actions that have tight end in the flat, walk-in touchdown, no problem here. So far this season, USC's only allowed 2 touchdowns against LSU. Again, they threw the shutout against Utah State. Yeah. Both of those were through the air. And again, Alex Orji's not going to be throwing beautiful dimes back of the end zone. Kyron Lacey, I understand all of that there, but they are creative inside that red area, and if USC is selling out to stop, all of the rush attacks there, it'll create opportunities. I think this is one of the things with Alex Orji today. And again, you guys know for the Go for the Loot, I played the 2+ passing touchdowns. This is a great opportunity to take a chance at the books. Like a lot of us, have no idea what's going on with this kid. Mm-hmm. That number that's up there for him to throw for, what is that, 225? Is it like 10-1?
It's 10-1.
I mean,
it's crazy.
Listen, maybe he does nothing. Maybe it's a 75-yard screen pass. Maybe they're trailing all game and they refuse to go to Davis Warren, so he has to throw the football. We'll find out. But the books are setting these numbers so low. Instead of playing them straight, alt them up, chase a ceiling.
No, I agree with that. And we talk about breaking tendency, right? You know, you want to break tendency in big matchups. If USC is looking to shut down the rushing attack of not just Mullings and Donovan Edwards, but the mobility of Orji in this matchup and take away the RPO game, then to Kevin's point, the play action pass can take over, right? So I like the over 2.5 touchdowns. I like the over 200 yards as a look because, again, chunk plays in these big games tend to happen. And Donovan Edwards as well, and the running backs are utilizing the screen game, and they put him out in the flank as well on linebackers. That's where you could get it. So, again, would I jump in over the 127? Probably not. But to Kevin's point, you want to give me plus money on 200 as a backer if you're back in Michigan? Why not?
Prior to the Maryland game a season ago in 2023, for this very stout Michigan defense, they had not allowed a passer to throw for more than 200 yards. The Maryland game was their second to last of the regular season. Both Mikey Keene and Quinn Ewers throwing for more than 220 to start this year against the Maize and Blue. So just quickly here on Miller Moss, Lisi guy against the ranked foe in LSU to start the year, 378 yards and a touchdown. If USC is going to win today in the Big House, and they're booked as a 4.5-point favorite, what do the Trojans need out of Miller Moss?
Push tempo. Get to your average. 303 with Miller Moss. They're averaging 336 as well against opposing defenses. Again, we know the back end is very good for Michigan. Same thing with Quinn Ewers. Open it up and force Orji to play from behind. You have to push tempo, not with the rushing attack, with your best man, and that's Miller Moss.
Can you say that stat again on the Michigan pass defense for me?
They had not given up a 200-yard passer or more in their first 10 games a season ago.
Okay. Now, and that's incredibly impressive no matter who you play. But also, my God, did Jim Harbaugh find ways to play the worst schedules I've ever seen to open up these seasons? No, I'm serious. No. I mean, Mikey Keene would have been one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the Big Ten last year. It's why I've given you such a tough time with this conference year in and year out, right? And Quinn Ewers obviously is one of your top quarterbacks in the sport. Michigan is tested at a much different level early on in the year than we have seen in the prior 2 seasons with Harbaugh, who legitimately was playing teams so bad that he was suspended, and it was never a talking point.
And they celebrated by having his father be the honorary head coach for those games. Michigan's a very intriguing team, right? Second time as a home underdog in the last 3 weeks, only once in the prior 3 years. That resulted in 3 consecutive Big Ten titles, college football playoff appearances, and, of course, a national championship a season ago. But they were just 7-9 against the spread in non-conference play the last 3 years. This year, they're 0-3 against the number in Big Ten action. 21-7-2 against the spread since the start of 2021. This is a new Big Ten foe in USC. Let's get to the game under the lights in Norman. Nico Iamaleava, Jackson Arnold, both in their first full year as the starter at their proud programs. Kev, I start with you. Jackson Arnold has not been good this year. He has not thrown for more than 180 yards, yet is OU's leading rusher. How do you think he matches the stage tonight against number 6 Tennessee?
Yeah, I don't think he does whatsoever. Again, it's a big reason I'm on the under here. Jackson Arnold is a massive drop-off from the quarterback that was Dylan Gabriel. Do keep eyes on his 25.5 rushing number. College style, you're going to be up against it. So far this season, he's been sacked 9 times, 3 times through each game. Tennessee is tied for the second most sacks in all of college football this season. So that Arnold number, again, it could be a battle. You're cashing tickets. You're celebrating. Uh-oh, we're losing again. But he could blast through that 25.5 as well, Joe.
It's a good look. Again, I looked at Nico in regards to that total, 259.5. They want to push tempo. And, again, they favor a higher scoring game. If Oklahoma gets it into a lower scoring fourth quarter game, Arnold will go under his number.
Nico Iamaleava, Nicky Treats, 6 touchdowns to only 2 INTs so far this year. I can't believe there's even props available, but Cam Rising does have a number, Kev, against Oklahoma State. Well, what do you make of it?
Nothing. Alan Bowman's the better quarterback in this football game. Alan Bowman has actually been awesome. I understand he cost you money last year. Again, no, I'm being serious. I understand last year he cost you money against Texas. Alan Bowman's been great this year.
Put money in my pocket against Arkansas. Say, we have a number for him to throw a pick today? Because it's coming. I'll tell you what. That's the biggest thing.
I've been talking to Pokes. I've been talking to Pokes Country, and they said, "K-Dub, great job, great bob and weave last week. We sold Lisi into the Tulsa game. Didn't matter. No, I know exactly. Sell him into the game. Let him feel like he got one, but that one doesn't matter. We need him out of bounds. If when it comes to Utah, you're out of bounds. Ollie Gordon blast through his 80.5.
272.5. The number for Alan Bowman, 6th most passing yards in all the country this year. 967 last week against Tulsa. 396 and 5 touchdowns. CFB next.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Right back here on this Week 4 Saturday on College Football Today. Some other ranked programs that not necessarily in the most difficult tests on this Saturday, but still that have been very impressive to start off this season. That's namely Ole Miss. 3-0 against the spread, covering by an average margin of 16.5 points per game. Today, Lisi, in the Grove, they're a 35.5-point favorite against Georgia Southern. The best total offense in the country, averaging 692 yards per game, putting up 56 points per game as well. Does Action Jackson Dart continue to lead the points production for the Rebs today?
Absolutely. I think we blow through the 66.5. Georgia Southern struggled with Boise State earlier in the year. If you struggle with Boise State and that offense, you're going to struggle with Jackson Dart. And not just the passing attack, the rushing attack today. Again, I think Lane, because they have an SEC game on deck and next game up, maybe he utilizes some backups. But I think there's no way we don't get through the 66.5 today, Kev.
Yeah, with what I've seen from him, he'll use the backups with about 3 minutes left in this game. Fourth quarter, throwing passing touchdowns with Jackson Dart, hunting the Heisman.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, watched a lot of film last year on how to win that award, obviously. I'll say this, if you can kind of look around, very correlated same-game parlays with Jackson Dart over his number and Trey Harris over his number. Harris has been peppered with double-digit targets each of the first 3 weeks. 94 yards last week against Wake was his low number, $130 and then a 179 spot against Furman in that game. Jackson Dart's thrown for 377 plus, though. So, again, correlated. If by chance all of a sudden Dart only hits 265, 285, that could be a little bit of a letdown for Trey Harris. I'd rather bet Harris than Dart. I will say there is a part of me that wonders, do I just get in now on a 7-1 Jackson Dart number? And if they can pull off the upset against LSU, right, he's got to be the favorite. Because statistically, he's doing everything that I'm being serious. Everything he is supposed to do against these bad teams, he is doing. He is taking his opportunities. When we get to that LSU game, Nobody other than me will know that he was throwing fourth-quarter passing touchdowns against Middle Tennessee. Nobody else will have any idea that that's what happened.
The only thing that could hurt him is he's got Georgia in late November, and they got blasted by Georgia last year. It's in the Grove.
Right.
But I'm just saying that would be maybe a roadblock to potentially if you book it now.
No doubt. The statistical output so far this year, though, is there for Dart. He's the leading passer in college football, 1,172 yards, 377, Kev, to your point, in the last 2 weeks, each against FBS competition. I was also intrigued to see what the Rebs would do this year on the ground, replacing Quinshon Judkins that went to Columbus and Ohio State. Thought it might be Ulysses Bentley. In fact, it's been the Miami transfer, Henry Parrish Jr., 133 yards in each of the past 2 games, 6 total touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. And, of course, Ashton Genty ran for 267 and 6 scores against Georgia Southern week number 1. Listen, man, pray for Kent State. Ain't nothing wrong with them. They're just playing college football against a very difficult schedule. 48.5-point underdogs today in State College. Kev, last week, Tennessee went over its team total of 55 in a hook against the Golden Flashes with over 3 minutes left in the opening half. They won 71-zip. Can Penn State follow suit?
Yeah, I think Penn State rolls here. Let me just say this, all right, because sometimes I'm a little hard on this sport because someone needs to be, all right? But also, this is what makes betting on college football the best. 48.5-point spread. People were grabbing 50s earlier in the week. You don't get this anywhere else. You do not get this anywhere else. But let me tell you, James Franklin, some people think you're mean. Prove them right. Run this up. I want 50 at the break. 52-7 halftime score, Joe. 48.5. Why? Tennessee just laid 49 to this football team here. Won 71-0, 65-0 at the break. Last year was the first time James Franklin at Penn State had a bye week followed by playing a non-power team. 63-0 against UMass. Penn State will get rolled. Don't say you're going to take the points. Take a total. I'm helping you. Take a total.
I'm just going to tell you this. They're undefeated against MAC opponents dating back since 2014. They have not covered, though, in the last 2 meetings. Bowling Green, they laid 34.5, and they didn't cover against Central Michigan. Right. I would take the over 55.5.
There you go. Good pick.
I mean,
Good pick.
Good pick. I wouldn't suggest taking this game, but could we see a little out of Aller in the passing attack?
For sure.
And again, if they play down to this team and they're struggling in the first half, you got to get them out of the top 10. Not you.
Oh, for sure. They don't.
You're on the hot seat.
They don't win by at least 5 touchdowns. They're out of the top 10. They're on the wait list next week.
They have to.
I promise to you.
Not been impressed.
Well, we got it. That was pretty close.
Impressed.
No, you have not been.
Love you, bro.
You can't reach across? All right. Well, isn't there another game in
We
here?
got to get to Iowa State and Arkansas State, but it's part of my betting card, so I'll mention it. How impressive the Cyclones have been.
Wow, carrying the workload.
Abu Sama, welcome to the card. All the cards for Week 4 next on College Football Today.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The next half hour, as we get you ready for this 4th full Saturday of the 2024 college football season, it is picks, it is bets, it is breakdown to make sure you have your entire betting card ready to go for week number 4. That's the mastermind. He's Joe Lisi. He's OK Dubs. That is Kevin Walsh. Double-digit plays. Once again, I am Ben Stevens. Not double digits?
I have 9.
Oh, but I thought...
No, can I just say this, though? But it's a good point. Throughout this whole show, I've mentally been like, how do I add? But it wasn't because I wanted to get to 10, but I can just tell I'm short on the card today.
You were bringing a little...
Maybe a little shimmy. I don't know. Sell me something, Lisi. Give me something.
You want me to sell
you? Give me something good. Let me hear the breakdowns.
Let's start early.
A little of that code.
We'll go to the matchup in Death Valley. I talked about it in regards to the breakdown. NC State hasn't beaten Clemson since 2002. Clemson's been dominant at home, 59-3 straight up. Since 2015, C.J. Bailey does get the start in regards to this matchup. He's a freshman. They played down to La Tech, did not get the cover last week, laying 20.5 at home. Part of that was with Grayson McCall. I don't know if NC State wins this game, but I think they'll be within the number. They've won 2 of the last 4. They're catching 18.5. The line opened up at 16.5. We saw it get as high as almost 3 touchdowns at 20.5. We settled right in. Give me the Wolfpack to keep it close. Lean to the under as well. I think Jordan Waters could have a factor in regards to the rushing attack. I told you his number is 31.5. I jumped on that. I altered him up as high as 50.5 plus. So keep an eye out for NC State at 12 o'clock against Clemson. Here's an under-the-radar game. I'm just not sold on Virginia and Tony Elliott. Over-exceeding expectations. They got the road win a couple of weeks ago against Wake Forest, catching 1.5. But that was more about Wake Forest giving them that game than Tony Elliott and Virginia taking it. They're just 1-5 last year on the road or on a neutral field. Coastal Carolina can run the football. They're catching now over a field goal at home, undefeated. I think they win the ball game outright, guys.
On the blue turf?
Yeah, why not?
On the teal turf of Coastal Carolina. Tim Beck's done a really good job taking over for Jamie Chadwell and the Chanticleers. I like that look as listen, told you last week, Virginia, non-conference game against Maryland, market working against me, UVA, -2.5. We trust in the Terps when it's not a Big Ten contest.
Yeah, that's interesting. That NC State, here's, hold on, because now I'm looking to add, right? So hold on, we're changing rhythm at all times.
Yeah.
Give me some of the what is it, the top end, the first 3 or something like that. I want to hear from you. I know usually I would go next or he would go next.
Cool.
I need to, is that okay?
Yeah, no, I love it. I don't really have anything early.
That's okay.
I have one more early.
What time?
The Florida-Mississippi State game.
I like Miss State. Again, Billy Napier with only 2 road wins in his career at Gainesville. I mean, that is a huge thing. This is no joke in terms of Stark Vegas. I'm going to take Blake Shapen.
Legitimate question, right? Because Tucker Gleason and Toledo went in there, scored 41 points. Gleason threw for more than 280 and 3 touchdowns. Not exactly sure what we're going to see out of the quarterbacks. 3 combined INTs last week. DJ Lagway has thrown 3 INTs against the 2 FBS foes that he has played. When you say Miss State plus 6.5, now that the number is under a touchdown, do you think the Bulldogs can win outright?
I do, because Jeff Lebby is a first-year head coach. I believe more in the consistency and identity of Miss State. Even though he's a first-year head coach with a good quarterback, he's a veteran in terms of Blake Shapen.
No doubt.
And again, the fact that they're playing at home, whether it's Lagway or Mertz, it doesn't matter. What is their identity? Are they chucking it 50 times in this game, or are they going to look to run it on the ground? And again, it's a conference game. You're going to get Miss State's best shot.
You know, this is a game that I moved off of once it wasn't a touchdown, but there's a lot of conversation even this morning, guys, about the quality of the Florida job. And, people say, Missouri is a better job. Ole Miss is a better job. It's about who has the job.
I would agree.
Now, listen, I think there's a Deion conversation to be had, but we probably don't have time for that. Here's the thing. If they're thinking about firing him today in Billy Napier, they're going to fire him.
For sure.
Because the schedule's too hard. He's not going to survive. So I'm curious for you guys, and I'll go to you first, Ben.
Yeah.
Because let's get lost on this for a second. Who are the few names that you throw out there that could come into Florida and take this job over?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you right now. I think you're trying to poach somebody from a power conference team. Who exactly is that? Who would take the job at Florida with so much turnover? I'm not really sure there is a name that I can point to at this point.
I would say Kiffin. I would say that would be the first guy on. And again, I don't know if Lane leaves Oxford because we talk about lateral moves. And when you have that train in motion with an expanded playoff with Lane, or even a coach like Dan Lanning that has SEC ties, leave for Florida. I mean, you're not going to go backwards, right? I mean, the fact that they were even mentioning Urban Meyer, I mean, in today's NIL, is terrible. You have to go with a young coach. But I don't think a coordinator. I think you need a guy with head coaching experience.
That's the interesting thing, right? Are there some up-and-coming coordinators that we can think of? Colin Klein for Texas A&M, sure. Will Stein over at Oregon. I'd actually think the former offensive coordinator at Oregon, Kenny Dillingham, might be in the running. The Arizona State head coach, they're having a great year. I don't know necessarily who that guy is going to be. I know Florida wants it to be a prominent name. They don't want to poach from the G5 level like they did with Napier despite his success at Louisiana. I will finish with this. You're correct. It's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah.
And if you're correct, that Mississippi State covers as only a 6.5-point underdog, which would give him a great chance for an outright win. I'm not kidding. Billy Napier's not coming back on the team playing to start from Starkville to Gainesville. It's not happening. He's fired tonight.
Yeah. And rightfully so, though, all in all, right? Like, at the end of the day, where it's like, our schedule's so tough, you're Florida. You're supposed to be a part of tough schedules, right? Like, Georgia's got a tough schedule this year. They're the favorites to win the national title. So you can't have that many excuses. I think the one thing that's always tough is it's like he's got DJ Lagway there, though, right? Like, we're going to lose this kid all of a sudden. But that's kind of the nature of the beast. And I'll just add this. I don't know if Deion would ever take the job. There's a part of me that thinks Deion just probably walks away with what Shedeur leaving all in all. But I don't know how great of a coach Deion necessarily is, right? But I know how big of a star he is. And I think if you can get a program that matches the Deion star power, I think one of these schools should take a shot at it and see what happens.
Wow. I think it would, if there was an opening, it would be potentially Florida State, depending upon how they go because of the ties and the fact that they played there. And the eyes, you want to keep the eyes on the program. Deion certainly would do that. No. I agree with you, though. What do you get from the X's and O's standpoint? But, again, you can't regress either. You can't go to get a coach like Ryan Silverfield at Memphis because you already did that with Mike Norvell. So now bigger and better.
Let me give you a little bit of my betting card to get this back on track as well. I mentioned the Iowa State-Arkansas State game. The Cyclones now in the top 20, taking on the Red Wolves today. Arkansas State against Michigan last week allowed 301 yards. Okay, that's Michigan, one of the best rushing teams in the country the last 3+ years. Then they played Central Arkansas to start the year in FCS-FO, who put up 235 yards. Then they took on Tulsa week 2. The Hurricanes had more than 160 yards on the ground. Abu Sama, the running back for Iowa State, has not been great this year. Just 93 total yards on the ground to begin. It's been more Rocco Becht, Jalen Knoll, Jaden Higgins that has been doing it through the aerial attack to come back in the Cyhawk game week 2 against Iowa. Abu Sama, 73+ rushing yards today is his number. He's going through that against a bad Arkansas State rushing defense. Let's keep it in the state of Iowa, although this game in prime time up at the bank in the Twin Cities. It's the battle for the most glorious trophy in college football, the Pig, the Floyd of Rosedale Trophy between Iowa and Minnesota. Hawkeyes laying 2.5 on the road. I think Iowa bounces back with a big statement win in Big Ten country. 35.5 is the total. Iowa, one of 11 FBS programs that have played 3 straight overs to start their year by more than 8 points per game. One of the reasons why, Caleb Johnson, the nation's leading rusher, the running back for the Hawkeyes, 479 yards, 119 yards in all 3 games so far this season, and only played the second half in the opener against Illinois State. He had a $187 against Iowa State, 173 last week against Troy. He has scored 2 touchdowns. And Minnesota's been really good defensively to start this year, back-to-back shutouts, including against an FBS foe in Nevada a week ago. But Omarion Hampton, the running back for North Carolina, put up 129 against the Golden Gophers week 1. Caleb Johnson does the same for Iowa today. More betting cards on the other side of the break here on College Football Today.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Don?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's finish out those betting cards for week 4 of this college football season. Mastermind, the floor is yours.
Yes, so I talked about Miss State, NC State, and Coastal Carolina on them. I'm going to take a shot with Michigan plus the 4.5. I believe the rushing attack does take over. Edwards, Mullings, and even Alex Orji. The fact that they're playing at home, I'm willing to take a shot. I don't care that USC has the better offense. This is a Big Ten game. Let's see if they're up to par. I think they might strike the upset as well, especially if they have success on the ground. We'll see how it plays out. The big one tonight, Oklahoma, plus the 6.5. The fact that they're opportunistic and dominant at home in regards to forcing turnovers. We talked about the numbers, Kev. 37-3 straight up since 2018 in Norman. First true road game for Nico and that offense. Maybe you can get something and keep it in the number. And I think they're live as well in regards to this matchup, especially if they score first in that ball game. USF going for the Lou pick. I think they could be live in terms of the money line. But Byron Brown, that offense averaging 268 on the ground, could be the difference. Interesting rivalry. Game played at home in Tampa. More importantly, potential look-ahead spot with Vatek on deck for Miami, especially on a short week. Give me USF. Utah, talked about it, physicality. I think that travels well on the road. If Cam Rising plays, great. If he doesn't, I still have enough confidence in the interior lines to get that victory. You know, I can't have a betting card without Joey Maguire. Bing, bing, bing. Let's go to 3-1. I love Dillingham. I love Arizona State. But Taj Brooks and that rushing attack got going. The fact that they're playing at home, a much better home team than they are on the road, I think Texas Tech gets it done late in the 3.5. They potentially move to 1-0 in the Big 12, 3-1 overall. Keep an eye out for them. And then the Pepto-Bismol crypto play special of the day.
Yeah.
Everybody looking at Cal. Got to take the 2.5. Fernando Mendoza, Jaden Knott. Guess what? Smash! Minus the 2.5. Go Noles! Best
I don't know
bet
if we
of the
can do
day.
that.
Best bet of the day.
Listen, it's now up to 3.5 for you here. FSU, second worst cover margin in the country at more than 19 points per game, 0-3 against the spread. But everybody is loving some Berkeley Bears. All of social media loves Cal Twitter. Cal having a big night in its first ACC game. We shall see. I'm not going to say my thoughts on that one and give you anything else. I'll finish out my betting card with a couple of sides for week number 4. Rutgers plus 4.5. I said I bet it on Sunday. It's now 3.5. There is one thing to do today, and that is stop Kyron Drones, who had 32 combined rushing yards, Virginia Tech's quarterback, in the first 2 games of the year. They did not cover in either. He had more than 110 in week number 3, a victory against Old Dominion. Rutgers needs to slow him down. You got to look to the defensive side of the football. Ty Powell needs to be there up front for the Scarlet Knights. If that is the case, and Rutgers has been great in non-conference play, 10-3 against the spread, get ready to live in a world where the Rutgers Scarlet Knights are going to be a 9-win football team at bare minimum. Northwestern plus 11.5 on the road in Seattle. Jack Walsh, the new quarterback for the Wildcats, quite an athlete. And last year, first year under David Braun, Northwestern was 7-3 against the spread. As an underdog, 5 outright victories, covering by nearly a touchdown per game on average, 7-2 ATS in the Big Ten. It was the best cover percentage in conference play last year in the Big Ten, and I don't often put Colorado favorably on my card. Colorado tonight, money line at home against Baylor. Don't see it with this Bears team. I don't think they're great defensively. I think there still needs to be some improvement from the regression that we saw in 2023. And CU last week, what impressed me more than Shedeur Sanders throwing for 300+ and Travis Hunter having at least the century mark in all 3 games receiving this year was the defensive side of the football for the Buffaloes and what they have done under Robert Livingston, the new defensive coordinator. 9 points, that's it, to Colorado State, who I actually thought would be good on the ground against the Buffaloes last week. Kev, it's the only time the Buffs have allowed less than 2 touchdowns in a game under Deion Sanders. I like Colorado money line tonight.
All right, a lot of good stuff there for me. I'm going to make sure that I leave the big games over there because we're going to still hit those. Yeah. So let's just get picks on the board that will not be hit over there, including a brand new addition to the card off show. I had to get double digits. We found it. Indiana, Charlotte, Signetti sizzle, baby, over the 49.5. They might score this on their own. He is in run-it-up mode with those Hoosiers. Looking to get ranked, baby. We're going over the 49.5. We're laying the 48.5 with the Nittany Lions. Kent State's already losing this game 35-0, and they don't even know it. James Franklin, one time off a bye against a non-power opponent, 63-0 against UMass here. This thing should be 56.5. We're laying 48.5. We're taking 10.5 with Georgia Tech. All right, it's okay. Some people like it, some people don't. We like it. The Grush attack for Georgia Tech will be key in this game, slowing the clock down. Louisville's played absolutely nobody. Rusty off of a bye. Georgia Tech going for their 5th game this season. We'll rip it and roll it that way. Arch Manning, sorry, boy, under the 292.5. No quarterback under Sark has thrown for more than 260 against a non-power opponent. They are on QB2, sneaky QB1. Why would they leave him out there to throw for 300? He's not winning the Heisman Trophy. Run it against UL Monroe. Show a little respect here. That's a team that's a friend of the program, essentially. We got to keep it respectful with that situation. We are going to go over the 51.5. Colorado and Baylor. Colorado against a real team means points. I know that didn't happen against Nebraska, but they're weird. They got weird energy. Colorado's offense will step up here. Their defense will fall back after last week. They had the best performance they've ever had under Deion. under Miami, South Florida. What's the story here with this number? We saw the Bulls hang defensively until late in the fourth quarter against Alabama, plus their offense won't do much. All they can do is hope their quarterback can run against Miami. He'll be running for his life in this game, under the 65. And then the only other pick, non-big game, it's going to be K-State minus 6.5. Statement game here. Sell high on the trendy dog. BYU's beaten two absolute jokes in SMU and Wyoming, which has them now getting 3 less points than what Tulane got. The Green Wave getting disrespect in this game. Show a little love to Tulane by laying the 6.5 with K-State late night in Provo. It gets weird. Yeah, it gets weird that a wheel team like that's catching less than a touchdown. Come on now.
All right.
BYU just 5-7 last
Oh,
year. It was
Ollie Gordon. Oh, never mind. That's right. We'll get to it over there.
Big it.
He's running.
Run it! Fumble!
Life raft. We're going to have a good time.
Strip 'em!
BYU last year, 5-7. It was the worst record since 2017. Just the second time in the last 19 years the Cougars missed out on a bowl game. I like the look to K-State. The big games, our games of the week for week 4. Next.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all season long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Live right here on College Football Today. We're about 5 minutes away from the start of week number 4 in this 4th full Saturday of the 2024 season. He is OK Dubs. That is Kevin Walsh. He is the mastermind of the college football pigskin. That is Joe Lisi. I am Ben Stevens. All right, let's dive through our biggest games of the week, our 3 ranked versus ranked matchups that we have on this Saturday. And we start in Ann Arbor. It's Michigan as a home underdog, 18th in the country against number 11 USC. Lisi, guy, we have said it a few times. When this line opened up in the summer, it was the reigning national champs in the maize and blue, 9.5-point home favorite, but now it's USC laying 4.5 in the Big House. Is it a statement on where these two teams enter this Week 4 showdown?
Yeah, and 0-3 against the spread right now for Michigan. I think this is a step-up spot. Orji gets the start. I think his athleticism is the difference in regards to this matchup. I do expect Michigan to run the football, work off of play action. And, again, we know how dominant the front seven is of USC, only giving up 100 rushing yards per game, and they're coming off of
action and find open pass catchers. Very effective. It's effective here for one, possibly two at plus 600.
126.5 is the passing yards prop for Orji. Michigan ran it for more than 300 yards against Arkansas State last week. Miller Moss, 256.5, a number he was well over against a ranked foe in LSU week number 1. 378 in that football game. The second time in 3 weeks, Michigan is getting points inside the Big House. They were a home underdog once from 2021 to 2023. It was way back in the game against Ohio State that season. Next up, we go to nighttime in Norman. Under the lights, it's Oklahoma and Tennessee. Top 15 tilt here, Kev. The first ever SEC game for OU. There's been no better cover team in college football this year than Tennessee. 3-0 against the spread, a favorite in every one, covering by an average margin of 27.2 points per game. Does that continue week 4 for their SEC debut?
If I'm betting the side, I'm betting Tennessee. I think they do have an argument for the best team in college football through their first 3 games so far, but my best bet tonight does come in this game under 57.5. Make sure you get the best of that number there. The Vols right now are the second best defense in terms of opponent yards per play. Oklahoma checks in at 13th. Their offense is why they're catching this many points. 98th in yards per play compared to last year's 9th rank, thanks to Dylan Gabriel. Jackson Arnold is not an Oklahoma-level quarterback, but Venables at home, SEC debut. I think Nico is in for what is now going to be his newest, toughest test of his career. Love under 57.5.
And that's the recipe for Oklahoma to potentially win this matchup. They don't have the offense, to Kevin's point, to go score for score with Nico and Tennessee that are averaging over 600 total yards per game. We talk about 37-3 straight up at home, +8 in turnover margin. I'm going to take the points. I like this game a lot. Give me the 6.5 and give me the money line. I think they do strike the upset.
You got to go all the way back to 1978, the last time a ranked Oklahoma program at home in Norman was catching at least 4 points. It's been a long time. They have never been a home underdog under Brent Venables. He became the head coach for OU back in 2022. Let's stay in the state of Oklahoma. Big 12 battle. This line still on the move. It might be over the next 3.5 hours. It's 1.5 currently in favor of Utah. Let me ask you a very simple question here, Lisi guy. Is Cam Rising going to play?
I think he will play, but even if he doesn't, it still comes down to the interior line play. This line resembles UCF and TCU of last week. UCF got the victory. I think Utah picks up this victory, grind out a victory over Oklahoma State. Just not sold on Bowman and the team.
Yeah, look, Cam Rising, sun setting. Look, settle on Oklahoma State here. Pokes, baby. They're at home. They're catching points. How? Why? Based on what? Oh, no. No. It's okay. Ollie. Don't worry about it. You don't need a life raft. You've been safe on this island all week long. You saved it up last week. You knew Lisi, Tulsa. I'm not helping him out. This number, his 80.5 prop, is 50 yards lower than it was against Arkansas. An absolute smash special. OG2 last year broke out in week 4. He does it again against the Utes.
He is Kevin Walsh. He is Joe Lisi. I am Ben Stevens. That does it for us today on College Football Today on SportsGrid. Week 4 starts right now.
Is going to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets and when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I kind of want to take that, dude. Okay. It's 11 on my book.